Yo, what is going on, guys? Polarized here. Today we're going to be checking out SCP animation. It's called SCP-343 God. Now, I don't know what to expect here. It's probably going to just be a god that can, like, literally do anything. And yeah, without any further ado, before we guys start, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and let's begin in 3, 2, 1, go.
Viewer discretion is advised.
343 was standing just behind 239. His face was knit in concentration. The old man's nose had a drop of blood forming just below the left nostril, slowly running down over the crest of his lip and dropping down onto his shirt. Hello everybody, I'm TheRubber. Today, we bring you SCP Foundation's Safe Class Object, SCP-343. SCP-343, colloquially nicknamed God by the staff of SCP Foundation, is an older man. He is a humanoid in appearance, but with apparent omnipotence. According to the Foundation, although 343 looks like an old man, his features could appear differently to each observer. 343 claimed to be the creator of the universe. When asked to prove it, he laughed, walked through the wall of the chamber, and returned seconds later with a hamburger in his hand. When the doctor returned for a second visit, the previously bare cell had been furnished into a larger room, one that embraced a fantastical Old English type of style, and seemed many times larger than it did from the exterior. 343 was discovered walking the streets of Prague. He was detained after a staff member witnessed him disappear from the street, only to reappear a short time later on a rooftop. 343 is detained willingly in his chamber, as containment has proved impossible. 343 resides in a 6.1 meter by 6.1 meter room at Minimal Security Site 17. He should be brought any items he requests and visited by at least one staff member each day because he likes company. Attempts to add further safety precautions or required clearances are unnecessary due to the nature of 343. SCP-343 greatly enjoys speaking with people and seems to have a knowledge of all topics.
I mean, he seems like a nice guy.
Visiting 343 has become a daily event for many of the Foundation's staff members, and most of them have reported feeling happier after each visit. Since 343 has been rather harmless thus far, all staff have been allowed access.
Holy shit.
According to SCP Tales, it was believed that 343 is the one who mentored SCP-239, allowing her to master her powers and create ways. SCP-239 is a small girl with the ability to do whatever she expresses a will to do, as long as she is conscious.
This is some dark energy.
If she can see it, she can change it. Hence, as a method of controlling 239, the Foundation has put her in a coma.
That's good,
However,
you know?
SCP-239 later developed a complete resistance to the drugs the Foundation had used to keep her comatose. To stop her from reawakening, the director of SCP Foundation was forced to request the O5 Council for the immediate release of Dr. Alto Clef from his confinement, and immediately assigned him to this case. Dr. Clef was given access to any materials he required. All personnel were to assist Dr. Clef by any and all non-carnal means. Clef walked into the Victorian-styled study and smiled at the fragrance of pipe smoke and at the sight of old books. The old man was seated in a high-backed chair with a hardbound copy of Don Quixote open in his lap. The old man looked up, startled surprise before smiling. Dr. Clef. Hello, 343. Oh, please. No numbers between friends. Sit, please. We both know what you are. I've never said anything about you. Not to anyone. Nor have I recommended your termination. Mainly because you stayed at level 3 and never posed a significant threat. You remember me from the GOC then? Geneva? 1989? And you remember that you owe me a favor. Yes, Doctor.
Shit.
I remember. I've come to collect. There's another type green. This one has progressed to level 4. I'm very old now, Doctor. I'm not sure how useful I can be. Sometimes I look for books, but I can't remember their names, and they're just not there anymore. Just the other day, a young man came in here to ask me about something, and I forgot he was here. And then he wasn't. Just gone.
What the frick?
And I can't remember him.
Probably like...
No one wants to say
He probably
anything.
did something about that.
Your aid will be necessary. I am a man of honor, Doctor. I will do whatever you need. Days later, Dr. Clef appeared in SCP-239's containment. He was looking through the steel, attempting to get a glimpse at 239's sleeping form.
Yo, ain't that a little bit creepy?
Watched the fading phantasms of her flicker about the room and scratching at the walls. He turned and picked up the thin helmet, strapping it to his head.
Oh shit, this is some Power
The body
Ranger
armor
shit, you know?
was a little bulkier than he'd anticipated, but it fit well enough. He pulled on the gloves, fingered the purple gun underneath his jacket, and felt through his pockets until he found the tiny box containing his emergency backup. He grinned and picked up a keycard, sliding it into a control panel in front of the glass. He flipped the switches all down to their off position and pulled out the revolver, bringing it up to point at 239, who was slowly waking up. Clef was running very quickly.
Oh no.
He could feel her back there,
Oh
floating
shit.
somewhere. He risked a glance backward, watching the floors buckle into water and piss, dirt and air. He hoped she would be
so
off
funny the way
balance
they said
enough
piss.
from the medications that she would be less capable,
Crap, what the
less
fuck
able
is
to
that?
affect the environmental changes on the universe. He was quite sure it was a pointless hope now. He rounded the corner, and the walls slid into chunks of burning human flesh.
What?
The smell of human flesh began to turn his stomach slightly before making it
disgusting.
growl uncomfortably. One more turn,
Yo,
and he'd
what
be
is
at ground
this?
zero. Another 10 feet. 9, 8, 7. He burst through the doors. Where's 343? The doors opened
Oh no.
slowly.
Oh no.
The being that floated through them didn't look like it was, is, or had
Looks
ever
so
been
scary.
a little girl. Years of atrophy had turned her limbs into spindly wires of flesh wrapped around bone. She wasn't able to lift them. She couldn't even turn her head. The tubes that had hung out of her arms were now crawling over her body like centipedes. She opened her mouth, trying to say something, but only a gurgle came out.
What's a gurgle?
She looked at Clef and gurgled again,
The fuck is a
louder,
gurgle?
angrily. 343 was standing just behind 239, his face knit in concentration.
What are you gonna do?
The old man's nose had a drop of blood forming below the left
Oh
nostril,
yeah, I remember that.
slowly running down over the crest of his lip and dropping onto his shirt. The girl screamed in rage,
Oh shit.
and 343 cried out, staggered by the changes she was forcing into the world. The drugs in her system were quickly dissipating, with her control over the world around her returning.
Oh, what is this?
239 turned the air into chlorine for a moment. Just a moment
This is some
before
Dragon Ball
343 could
Z
stop her.
shit.
343 was kneeling on the floor, ears bleeding. His knotted hands were clenched as his foe turned for the moment from Clef to float toward him. It was almost beautiful to watch, Clef thought, stopping for an instant to observe what he hoped was a rare circumstance. The distance between them crackled as the hovering female changed things, reversing the laws of physics and existence as 343 set them back into place.
Come on.
It was like watching a petulant child throw her toys to the floor while her patient grandfather picked them back up.
What?
Clef edged around near the door, raising the revolver again.
Oh no.
He fired. Chunks of flesh were ripped from her body and thrown
Do you
behind her
even
to the
think
mirror.
that bullet could stop her?
She screamed as the cancer
No, it
started
can't.
to form
I don't think so.
almost instantly under her flesh. Don't care much for that,
I think she's the
do
type
you,
of people to
little
grow
girl?
new flesh.
Clef dropped the gun and tackled her before she could recover, hitting her tiny waist sharply and pushing her toward the mirror, grasping SCP-093 and shoving.
Oh, what?
They fell into a strange field, with rolling wheat and smells of emptiness. The girl was rolling on the ground, willing herself up off the ground pitifully. Clef stood nearby, knocking the bits of wheat and grass off his armor. He walked over and forced her body over. Sorry, dearie. Different world, different rules. Finally, he managed to knock her out. As she loses consciousness, her eyes thankfully glossed in the pleasant emptiness of oblivion.
The frick?
Remember to check out my new animation.
Alright, that's it. That was a very weird ending. I don't even understand. Okay. I like the video so far. My favorite, probably the favorite part was when that, I forgot the number, but that creepy looking doll started to run after the doctor guy. And yeah, I think it was nice. It was a good episode. And yeah, waiting for another episode. Anyways, like the video, subscribe.